What's up, everybody? This is Big Sarge back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you exactly what a United States Army drill sergeant is in case you are thinking about joining the U.S. military or you're already in and you're contemplating on becoming a drill sergeant. So, with that being said, let's get into it. If you ever watched a military movie, then you've probably seen that one character, the loud, no nonsense drill sergeant screaming at new recruits, pushing them past their limits, and turning chaos into discipline. But here's the thing, Hollywood only gets it half right. Sure, drill sergeants yell a lot. And yes, they are some of the most intense leaders you will ever meet, but there's way more to the job than just barking orders. So, what exactly does a drill sergeant actually do? What are their responsibilities? And most importantly, what is life really like when you put on the iconic campaign hat? So that's exactly what I'm going to break down for you, just in case you are considering becoming a drill or you're just curious about what these professionals do. So with that being said, let's go. Before we get into the daily grind, let's talk history. So the title drill sergeant, this carries weight in the Army. It's not just a job, this is a tradition. For decades, drill sergeants have been responsible for shaping fresh recruits into disciplined soldiers. And that brown campaign hat isn't just a piece of headgear, it's a symbol of authority, respect, and responsibilities. So when recruits see that hat, they know it's time to lock up, sound off, and give 100%. So think of drill sergeants as the bridge between civilian life and soldier life. They take people straight out of high school, college, or everyday jobs, and in 10 weeks, they transform them into disciplined members of the United States Army. Exactly what is the mission of a drill sergeant? Well, it's pretty simple on paper. They train, discipline, and develop soldiers during basic combat training and advanced individual training. But behind that statement is a mountain of responsibility. Drill sergeants aren't just teaching soldiers how to march in formation or fire a weapon. They're shaping soldiers' character, building resilience, and preparing them for the realities of Army life. And they are the first impression recruits get of the Army, and that impression can stick for the rest of a soldier's career. All right, so let's talk about the day in the life of a drill sergeant. So let me go ahead and paint a picture for you. It's 04:30 in the morning, so that is your wake-up call, and the day usually starts before sunrise, and drill sergeants are often awake before their soldiers, making sure everything is set for morning physical training. And when the clock hits, you're waking up about 50 to 60 recruits, making sure they're out of bed, dressed and in formation in minutes, and yes, sometimes that means a lot of yelling. Then 0500, that's when PT commences, and this is where you lead by example. So if you're making soldiers do push-ups, sit-ups, sprints, or ruck marches, then you are usually doing it along with them. And drill sergeants, they are expected to be in top physical shape. So after PT, it's breakfast, but don't think that drill sergeants just sit down for a quiet meal. Drill sergeants often monitor the chow hall, making sure recruits eat quickly and maintain discipline. And then it's off to inspections where they're checking uniforms, bunks, equipment, because everything needs to be up to standard. And then after all of that, that's when they get to the real work, where they'll be out there running weapons ranges, teaching land navigation, supervising field training, teaching Army values, traditions, and discipline, correcting mistakes, and coaching and mentoring recruits. And then once the day winds down, drill sergeants are responsible for accountability, where they're making sure every soldier is accounted for, safe, and squared away. And then while the recruits might get some downtime, drill sergeants are often stuck doing reports, planning the next day's training, or dealing with administrative issues. And then finally, after all of that is done, well, drill sergeants can go get some rest, but understand that they do not get a lot of sleep because, once again, they're often the last ones who are awake and they're often the first ones who are up. So basically, if you want to become a drill sergeant, you need to get comfortable with the idea of having 20-hour-long work days, because that is not uncommon. All right, so let's talk about the top duties and responsibilities of a drill sergeant. So let me go ahead and break this down into specifics. So a drill sergeant is expected to train recruits in everything from basic rifle marksmanship to first aid and physical fitness. They also have to maintain discipline and enforce Army standards in appearance, behavior, and performance. They have to mentor and develop leaders, teaching teamwork, resilience, and the Army values. They have to conduct counseling sessions with trainees to provide feedback and guidance. They have to oversee daily life from wake-up calls to lights out. They have to ensure safety and accountability during training and field exercises. They have to prepare soldiers for deployment, where they teach them how to survive in combat environments. And they have to serve as a role model, because everything that they do is watched, copied, and judged by the trainees. So in short, drill sergeants are not just teaching soldiers what to do, they're teaching soldiers how to be soldiers. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the good stuff, the pros of being a drill sergeant, because being a drill sergeant isn't just about yelling until you lose your voice. And so, one of those pros is respect and prestige. So, wearing the brown round hat, this instantly commands respect. You're respected across the Army as a leader who's been through one of the toughest schools. There's also career advancement. So, serving as a drill sergeant is considered a career enhancing assignment because it shows that you can lead, train, and mentor soldiers, which is exactly what senior NCOs are expected to do. Then there's leadership and development. So you're responsible for shaping new soldiers. That means you'll develop leadership, communication, and teaching skills that will serve you for life. And then there's extra pay and benefits. So drill sergeants, they do receive special duty assignment pay on top of their base pay because it's hard work, but the extra money does add up. And then there's impact and legacy. So think about it. Every soldier that you train carries your influence. And years from now, they'll still remember the lessons that you taught them, and that can be powerful. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the cons of being a drill sergeant because this is not an easy job. So there are long hours. And once again, we're talking 18 to 20-hour days, 6 days a week, where you're going to get very little sleep and almost no personal time. There's going to be stress and pressure because you're going to be responsible for 40 to 60 brand new soldiers at once. So if something goes wrong, it's on you. And that could be a lot of pressure. There's going to be strain on your family life. So drill sergeants, they are often away from home, even when they are not deployed. So your family might see less of you during your drill sergeant tour than during an actual deployment. Then there's going to be constant scrutiny. So remember how I said that you're always being watched? Well, that can be stressful. So if you slip up, your recruits will notice and your fellow drill sergeants are going to notice, in addition to your leadership taking notice. And then there's emotional burnout. So you're going to see soldiers succeed, but you're also going to see them fail. They're going to deal with homesickness, breakdowns, and sometimes even soldiers who cannot handle the Army at all. And all of that can wear you down. All right, so if that didn't scare you away, let's talk about how do you actually become a drill sergeant. So if you're already in the Army and you want to put on the hat, then here's what you need to do. So here are the requirements. So you got to be at least an E5 through the ranks of E7. You got to have at least 4 years of service, and some exceptions do apply. And you got to score 90 or higher in the aptitude test, and that can vary by your branch or MOS. You can't have any disciplinary actions or major misconduct. You got to pass the AFT at a high standard, and you must qualify for a secret clearance. And then after you do all of that, you're going to head off to training where you're going to go to Fort Jackson, South Carolina to attend the Drill Sergeant Academy. And once you're there, you're going to learn about leadership and mentorship skills, drill and ceremony instruction, physical training techniques, Army values and discipline methods, and how to train large groups effectively. Now, it's a tough school, and it is intentionally designed to be so. But once you graduate and put on that campaign hat, then you will have officially joined an elite group of soldiers. All right, next, let's talk about life after drill sergeant duty. So serving as a drill sergeant, this can open a lot of doors, and some of those doors that open up can directly affect your career, such as faster promotions. So drill sergeants are often more competitive for leadership positions because they served on a trail. You're going to have a respected reputation because people will know that you've been tested and proven. And then there's some civilian career crossover, such as leadership, training, and discipline. All of that is valuable in law enforcement, corporate leadership, and education. Then there's personal growth. So you're going to become more confident in leading others. You're going to sharpen your communication and teaching skills, and you're going to develop the ability to handle stressful, high-pressure situations. Now, with all of that wonderful information that I just gave you, there are some challenges. And the challenges are, once again, you're going to be dealing with long hours and stress, which can take a toll. But for those of you who go on to become a successful drill sergeant, well, the rewards, both personal and professional, can be huge. All right, next, let's talk about the realities of wearing the hat. So here's the thing about drill sergeant duty. It's not just a job. This is an identity. So you wear the campaign hat everywhere, and it becomes a part of you. Soldiers, they stand taller when you walk by. Other NCOs, they respect you more. And your name will be remembered because you're shaping the future of the Army, because you're the first line of leadership for brand new soldiers. So you will be setting the tone for their entire careers. Now, that can be a heavy burden, but it can also be an incredible honor. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap all this up. Is drill sergeant duty worth it? Well, here's my honest take. Being a drill sergeant, this is one of the toughest jobs in the Army. The hours are brutal, the stress is real, and the pressure is constant. It can strain relationships, test your patience, and push you to your limits. But it's also one of the most rewarding jobs because you're not just training soldiers, you're shaping the Army. You're leaving a legacy. You're proving to yourself and others that you have what it takes to lead, mentor, and inspire. So if you're considering drill sergeant duty, ask yourself these questions. Are you ready to sacrifice sleep, comfort, and personal time for a few years? Do you want to make a lasting impact on the Army? And are you willing to be the role model that soldiers look up to and sometimes fear? Well, if the answer is yes, then maybe the brown round has your name on it, because at the end of the day, a drill sergeant is more than a job. This is a calling.